Hi, everyone. My name is Bruce, and today Janet, are doing this show called A Girl, a Guy, in a Movie. And today we're going to look at one of the 1985 controversial films, and it's called The Year of the Dragon. Janet, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Want to know, you just watched this movie. Was this the first time you'd seen it?
Mm-hmm.
But that makes two of us.
Yeah, I never even heard of it. Really, I never really paid that much attention to it.
Okay. Wow, you look really good today. Um, I didn't mean to mumble that for the. I'm just saying, as I'm just echoing a statement in my head. Anyway, um, and Janet usually tries to kind of cross play into cosplay.
Well, I can't be as young as she is, but oh well.
You don't really look. You don't look too far much older than her. I mean, you have to keep in mind
I do have a microphone.
she was like what 21 in this movie.
Yeah, mid 20s maybe.
Yeah, she was super young, and when
The
you're
other woman that was supposed to be 35, I thought she looked older than 35.
yeah, you and me both. But Angela Lansbury is supposed to be 42 in Murder She Wrote. I thought
Oh,
maybe she was 58. I don't know.
I don't
Angela
remember.
Lansbury never looked like a teenager,
No,
even as a teenager.
maybe not. I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen pictures of her when she was a teenager.
I
So,
studied this because it was just one of those things that you need to. Okay, why do people look hotter now than what they did back in the 80s? And then you see the comparisons. We're like, here's Angela Lansbury, age 30, and it's like, yeah,
well, yeah, but wasn't she from England?
yeah. And I mean, they don't hold their age worth a
Well,
shit.
it's genetics, it's what
Right?
you eat, all those things. It's
Yeah.
a combination. So,
So Ariane was like 22 in this movie, and she was actually gonna be not in this film because they wanted to bring in Joan Chen, who's been in a couple movies I really like.
mhm.
But um, and On Deadly Ground is not one of them.
Well, maybe she didn't want to take off her clothes.
I
I've
don't
seen
know.
that happen before where they had, like, remember Bad Girls? The
Mhm.
lead actress said she would show her rear end, but she wasn't going to show her chest and stuff. So
Okay.
that was one reason why you never saw her naked or anything.
There's been a couple that were worthy, but Joan Chen was in. She was on the Twin Peaks TV series, and then she was on a not so great film called Steel Justice, and she did Fire Walk with Me. Although she was in the deleted scenes of it, you can still find those. Uh, the Hunted. And there was a Rutger Hauer film I thought she was in. Oh, and she was in the '95 Judge Dredd. But I do like Joan Chen. I like me some Joan Chen films. But I've got to say that I really this Ariane girl, that's not her full name. She did pretty okay, and I wasn't upset by the lack of clothing in one scene, but I didn't
A
add
couple of scenes. There was a few scenes that she
it,
was
it
in
didn't add anything to the movie.
with no clothes, and she looked butt naked in that one,
Yeah, she
complete butt naked. Butt naked. That's probably why they picked her.
probably. You think it's
I
because
mean, she
she
didn't even have modesty patches on, as you can
yeah
see when she was putting a robe on.
yeah she looked pretty okay, but I mean I think the fucking script of this movie is crazy good. It's just that, like what we were discussing earlier, this movie got discussed up until like 91, 92,
Yeah.
and this wasn't really a film that was played a whole lot. You don't see a lot of midnight showings for it. Draft House doesn't feature it whenever they're doing retro 85 or retro 80s movies. This is not a
Mhm.
movie that people talk about in mass. And that's kind of a shame because there's some good historical reference here, relevance that this movie does deserve to have a seat at the table. Now, I wouldn't say it's as good of a film as, say, like different genre, but Blazing Saddles. But I think there's a lot of people that hate both movies because of the big R word. Hey, Neo J, how you doing, sir? Oh my God!
Mhm.
Super chat for $10 from Makani. Makani
Oh,
drove.
well, that's nice of them.
Yes, it
Thank
was.
you for stopping in.
Oh
But
boy.
yeah, the big R was definitely in this movie. It had a lot of racism in it. I mean, the whole movie, all the way through, it was racist, basically against the Chinese, and it used the N word a few times. So it
Well,
was
the
racist.
movie
It was
was a very honest look at 1985, though.
Well, yeah, but it also was the mentality of a lot of people, supposedly in different areas, because basically the whole thing was broke down to Chinatown, different gangs, and the police department, in basically seedy bars, all that. That was where everything took place, and the language in all those places, and in the alleys and things like that. It was very racist, and what was funny that it seemed like they were trying to push the narrative that the Asians didn't like the blacks and the blacks didn't like the Asians type of thing. But what I saw through the dialogue and the acting was basically it was the police that didn't like the Asians or the blacks, from the point of view of the script writer. That's how they were trying to, the narrative that they seemed like they were trying to push was to show how, like when they had that one meeting, uh, almost halfway through the movie with the Chinese mafia, or whatever you want to call them, the triad groups that were
Yes.
all the heads of the group sitting around the table negotiating, maybe selling their businesses to this other guy. I guess he was in the mob because he had that thing on his throat. So, and then he was racist. None of the other ones at the table seemed to act racist towards him, except the youngest gentleman, the youngest one that ended up wanting to take over his leader's group. You know what I mean? And run it for himself, his triad group. So he was a little racist. So it showed the older people, that were I don't know, were more respectful, even though they were criminals. They had prostitution and they were selling drugs and they were doing extortion and things like that. The way they spoke to each other was more respectful than the younger people. So you had one racist guy that was very disrespectful to everyone, and then you had a young man that looked like he was in his late 20s, maybe early 30s, that
Yeah.
was very disrespectful to everyone. So it showed
It showed
that whole level
the impetuance of
of
youth
racism.
really hard.
Do what?
It showed the impetuance of youth, the stupidity of youth, or the ignorance.
Well, yeah, it showed that they weren't willing to compromise for anyone. That it was my way or the highway, and that is a downfall of any business or city or country, or anyone basically. Because over time, when you're that way with people, they're not going to buy your products. They're not going to deal with you because they don't trust you. They're going to quit. They'll just start not showing up for the meetings and stuff, and then you will have no one doing anything for you, and you won't be able to buy drugs. You won't be able to buy anything to run your business because no one wants to deal with someone that's going to stab them in the back every time you deal with them, right? It's just like people with even personal relationships. You have a member in your family that everybody just goes, oh God, I'm leaving, because that person shows up, the one who always asks for money, or the one that does nothing but complain the whole time they're there. It's just not a person that's not fun to be around. So people start to avoid you. And if everyone's avoiding you, there's got to be a reason. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But people don't wise up because especially in narcissists, they automatically believe it's everyone's fault, everyone else's fault, not mine. Just like the lead character basically in this movie, because that's what he was. At least that's how he came across to me in the script. And he did a great job portraying the character that he was supposed to play, I felt.
I just want to verbally acknowledge something. We had a small raid of friends from the Makani Draw stream. I don't know if they're finished for the day or if they're just kind of doing an intermission. He donated $10 and wanted to know if I would be available to join him next week, which I will. And if it could, I want to be there between 3 and 4 p.m. During that segment on your show next week. I know you're watching the first show that you did for 5 years ago. I don't even know if I
Mhm.
was part of that. That might have just been you
Oh,
and
it's an anniversary show?
his
We
anniversary show.
definitely needed to go.
He is a hell of an artist. He's one of the
Mhm.
best artists I've seen, and the his art, quote unquote, isn't like he's not a realist or somebody who does like he's not going to be confused with the classic art that we have from the French and the Italians. This guy's art is very emotive, and he does a very good job of doing the expressions, the emotions, the kineticism. And Makani is probably going to be in the next 10 years hitting his master's stride. And as long as his hands and knuckles stay in great shape, which I know he'll take good care of himself because he's been working on getting healthier. He's gonna do that. And he had his friend's Power 1000 just pester him. We're not stream sniping next week. Come on. And so I messaged him on X, and I want to have him be able to see him next week between 3 and 4 California time, and that would make it 5 to 6 for us. So we end next week around 4:45, and I go over there and show patronage because I do want him to succeed. I do want him to enjoy his show. He's a great artist, and he's he does a lot of culture talk, especially around the electronic culture, the not just the internet, but a lot of games and such. So anyway, I just wanted to quickly blurb that out. Thank you, Makani. You did not have to give us the 10, but thank you so much, sir. And thank you, thank you, Power 1000. Thank you, Neo J. Thank you, everybody from that stream that came over here. If you guys want to stick around and watch, hey, that's great. We're talking about a movie called The Year of the Dragon. And I suggest anybody and everybody who wants to take a time capsule back to 1985, watch it because it's pretty fucking good. Okay, go ahead, Janet. Uh,
Remember where I was.
you
Yeah,
honestly
the
feel
movie is based is around a police officer, a detective,
yes,
and he is reassigned for whatever reason. We don't know. It might be because he doesn't get along well with the other detectives, so they decide to send him to Chinatown. That's what it sounded like to me, how it came across. And when he got over there, he decided that they had told him the only thing he needed to do when he got there was to make sure he tried to crack down on all the gangs, the hoodlum gangs that are robbing stores and harassing people in the streets and stuff like that. But he ends up going there with being vindictive because he feels like he has a chip on his shoulder when it comes to people that are from China. Basically, he's a racist, and he's very apparent about it because he says it a lot. That he doesn't like people from China, and he doesn't like the way they do things and the way they live their lives or whatever. So he decides he's going to clean it up. He's going to stop the extortion from each other and make them follow the rules. And he threatens all the cops that are on the beat cops that are from Chinatown, that if he finds out that any of them take money or bribes or anything from anyone, that their heads are going to roll, basically. So he goes in there right off the bat with a fist, the iron fist, how he's going to rule it. But basically, he's just a racist, and he's short tempered, and he throws his weight around with people, even though he just barges in, and just tries to act like he's a bully. Basically, that's what he is. And he is reprimanded by his boss that tells him that he needs to get along with the older people that are running Chinatown, and who, basically back off. But he doesn't. So I'll let you fill in some stuff there to go along with what's going on in the story if you want. So I don't do all the talking.
I'm okay with you talking and you
I
emoting
know,
and you giving your feelings because I
but
I
I can
honestly
take over.
feel like the start of this movie, the first act of the film, really sets the stage for what you're about to get. And
Mhm.
it very much it unwraps things at kind of a rapid pace, but not so super fast. It's hard in the second and third acts to really catch your breath. The first act, after the shootout, in the restaurant, you really have an idea that this is a pretty weighty situation, and
Yeah.
you're not really prepared for this. And another thing this movie does, it doesn't really. I noticed that the theatrical cut doesn't have any subtitles for any of the Mandarin or Cantonese they're speaking. I don't know what they're speaking. I'm not a linguist that's specialized with the Orient, kids. Sorry,
Well,
but
the thing is, though, I did notice that when you change to from the first movie to the second one, for whatever reason, technical problem or whatever, that's when I realized there wasn't subtitles. And but the thing is, I just tried to very pay closer attention to everyone's mannerisms in the room and try to get the gist of what's going on. And almost it was kind of good in a way. I kind of liked it because it almost made me feel like I was really there. Because if
yes,
I was there, I wouldn't understand what they were doing unless I just paid attention. And when they'd raise their voices, the expressions on their face, all of that made it even more intense for me because I knew that the elders were butting heads with the younger men that were trying to step in
that
and
seems
run
like
stuff.
that's the repeat event throughout the entire film. Victor Wong disappeared for a whole stretch of the movie,
Mhm,
and I kind of wondered for a second, like, did I miss the part where he gets killed off?
mhm.
Do you remember what? Do you remember that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, because he did disappear, but we found out later.
yeah. You find out what happens, but holy shit, this movie surprised the hell out of me, and it never really stops going after your jugular because of the pacing of the plot. It's not the kineticism that really gets you in this film. The kineticism's fine. There's plenty of action. There's plenty of problems that require a good prop master and some ordnance and an old junky car. Uh, the Mercedes at the very end of the movie.
Hmm.
I read that the Mercedes they have there it gets hit by a train and it just won't dent. So when they shot it again, they pre-injured the Mercedes. After numerous attempts, they had to use stuntmen with sledgehammers to dent the shit out of it.
Yeah, I was really shocked when I saw that one scene because I go, that looks like a real train.
It was it
And
was
it was coming over the bridge, and when it hit that car, it couldn't even. If it hit a car today, a train like that,
well,
it would
today's cars,
fly out off the tracks, and it would like burst into pieces, right, like
yeah.
a Tonka toy.
But the
But
cabin
this
would be
one
fine.
didn't. It just barely crunched, and it kind of went along on the front of the train, like it because you could
Just
tell it's
grinding the
made out of
rails,
real metal,
just
real
grinding the rail
steel.
slide the whole time.
Yeah, so I thought that was impressive
Yeah.
because and I thought the movie held up really well. Even though no one had a cell phone, you know what I mean. That was one thing that because they were replaced with guns. Everybody had guns basically,
Mhm.
but people were smoking. That was another thing. You forget when you watch all these movies today and no one smokes, right? You don't see anybody really smoke on TV or in movies anymore.
It pisses me off so much.
But the thing is, when people lit up, I thought it was. I don't know. That was the most nostalgic thing for me, especially like when he told that reporter to meet him at that restaurant, right?
Yep.
And he goes up there to the table and he can look down and see what's going on, who's coming in and out. So it was a very strategic place that he sat. But when she sat down and he was being all arrogant and racist, right? And everything he said was racist and arrogant and
Everything.
narcissistic.
It's
And
good.
then he takes his cigarette out and he starts smoking it, lights it, and she whips hers out of her bag and she goes like this to hold it up. She's waiting and he doesn't light it. So she gets her own lighter and lights it because he was an asshole basically too. He wasn't a gentleman. He was just a dick, a big dick, and he does a good job. I mean, that's one thing I can definitely say about him as an actor is he can play a good asshole. I
I
can
was so
say that.
surprised that the entire time I'm watching this movie, Bruce Bruce Willis is doing his John McCain as a best Mickey Rourke
Hmm.
the entire time. That was
Yeah.
that's what killed me throughout the whole time.
But I think that honestly, if I had to put them side by side, I still think Bruce Willis did it better.
Okay.
And I thought there were similarities between the two, but I don't think that. I think Bruce Willis had a charm all his own that separated him a lot from that. Because he wasn't a narcissistic asshole. You know, he was an asshole, but he was an asshole to the right people. I don't know if that makes sense. Bruce Willis was.
Yeah.
So that separated. To me, I didn't get that from him. Even with his wife, you know, when he was at home and he lays on the little bed they had, and he was being all a dickhead to her basically, but then trying to get her to have sex with him anyways, you know, and she was like, see ya. You know, basically she was like, they were already having problems. You could tell just
Yes.
from that scene in the movie. And even though because she could tell she loved him, but she was just so fed
That
up with
old shit. She's
his
at the end.
narcissistic pig attitude. You know, it's like, you know, that's how he treated her. It's like he treated everybody that way. It's like me, me, me. I'm better than you. You know, get down on it or what, you know, whatever. That was his attitude, and that's why I felt really bad for the young reporter because she was susceptible to a narcissist, and a passive person is always susceptible, and the narcissist knows. I mean, their fangs and their claws come out almost instantly when they meet a pacifist,
Yeah.
and I knew she was going to end up falling for him just from their characters.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Even
I
if
felt bad
Roger
for
was
her
a thing.
because if I had been there, you know, he wouldn't have talked to me like that or anything. Because most narcissists realize that, you know, pretty quickly that I'm not one of those people that's going to just bow down to their whim.
I've had
So,
experience with you. I don't need this.
so you're not a narcissist. You have narcissistic tendencies, but you're not a narcissist. I can definitely say that about you. But
I
most everyone has some type of tendency of a narcissist.
I can't look at like traffic and feel like, oh yeah, these are my equals. No.
Yeah.
No, not in the least bit. Whenever I'm driving, like I just like y'all you motherfuckers just need to be on fucking bus and you just ride along and just click like on your fucking Instagram and you can tweet all you want. Nobody's gonna fucking be dependent upon you to steer straight. Just get on the fucking bus and you'll be fucking fine. And that's me throughout the entire time I'm driving.
Yeah, but that even the triad boss, okay, the younger gentleman because you could tell he was still respectful to a degree with his elders at the beginning. But as it progressed and he felt like he was running out of time to do his big thing that he wanted to do so that he could prove that he was better than all of them, you know, a better businessman, better at running everything, but he didn't have patience. He wasn't able to contain um, his narcissist, you know, feelings about that he's smarter, he's better, he knows more, you know, that he's the new and improved edition, you know, and that's what his downfall was, and that plays out really well with these two characters, with his character arc, because at the beginning, it was like I felt like maybe he was a younger version of the elders, right? But he wasn't because he could tell as time went on that the way he spoke to him, the way he looked at him, and the way he just didn't he lost respect for him. You know, he didn't talk to them with respect, and he was very disrespectful to his elders, and that came across. But Bruce is a dick. Yeah, I mean that in the most sincere way. Yeah, I thought it's great. That's really funny. You know, I've had lots of talks with Bruce, you know, over our relationship, you know, as friends, that you don't tell your mother what you're telling me because you don't want to hurt your mother's feelings. I've done that many times because, you know, I think his mother would be upset by some of the things that he does, but that's because I'm his friend and I care about whether his mom gets mad at him or not, you know. So I don't know if he tell her or not, but
Still talk to my parents 4 to 5 days a week. So
I know, but some things you shouldn't tell them.
yeah, yeah,
So,
I get that. I'm
but
realizing
I
that
tell
now
you that because I
I
care
can't
about you.
I can't keep them updated on everything because then like they start worrying about me and
Yeah.
yeah, just like stop. It'll be fine. Things will work out.
It's funny how that works because we get upset with our parents when they don't tell us things, because especially when it's their health things, and we're like, why didn't you tell me? And they go, well, we don't want to worry you, but you should have told me. That's important. We do the same thing to our parents. So I just think it's funny as heck, but that's real life. But in the story, as it was progressing, we start to find out that he's gone off on his own, making deals with some of the people they were buying their drugs and things from, and that's when he was going up above his pay grade, basically, because he thought, I'm taking over, and whether they want me to or not, basically. And when he got rid of that other guy, because he took him with him, and he had the head with him to prove his point when he got to meet the general back in China.
Mhm.
That whole thing was really. Did you see how many extras they had in that?
Yes.
That was a shit ton of extras. Do you have any pictures from that? Because that was a
Hundreds.
very dramatic scene to me. The whole thing was so realistic. I felt when you see him riding the little moped thing
Mhm.
to go see them, the way that they drove there, the countryside. I mean, everything about it was very realistic to me.
The authenticity of that scene really kicked my ass.
I thought it was
They
great.
filmed it right. They did
All the
everything.
detail in it, the tents, the uniforms. I mean, just everything. They went overboard. And who was the director again?
Michael Cimino, the same gentleman that did a movie called The Deer Hunter. I don't know
Oh
if you
yeah.
saw that. I read
Uh,
the book. I saw the movie
it
later.
was.
The book was
He
fantastic. He
definitely
did a
looks
good
like
job.
he took his time to make
Yes,
sure that the sets, I mean, throughout the whole movie to me was so authentic. Just like I told you afterward, it was so real. All of it was so real to me. And I think anyone could watch it today and not even feel like it wasn't made today. Still,
absolutely.
there was only one scene that I went, oh, like that afterward, was when his wife gets murdered in the bathroom. The, a few days later after the funeral service. So this is the only reason why I was like, what? To me, it was sad to see that when the blood was still red. It
Yeah,
wasn't brown or, starting to turn black, dried on the floor, because he was living in the house
he didn't
where his
even
wife
clean up.
was murdered.
He didn't even
Right.
clean up the bathroom.
Yeah, but I can understand that because of his breakdown. Basically, he was starting to go through a breakdown because everything was crashing. You know what I mean? Everything was crashing, and that one young detective got murdered. His wife is murdered. All these bad things were all coming together at one
Everything
time.
comes apart on this guy
And
in the film.
he didn't die, but everyone was dying around him or being shot or killed. And then he finds out the girlfriend, the girl that he well, not really his girlfriend, because he was just sleeping with her. He
He's
was
just
just
sleeping
someone,
with her. He's
just
not. He's
someone he
just
wanted to
treating
have sex with.
just
She
treating
was
good.
raped, and he felt, instead of looking at her when she was telling them, instead of being sympathetic with her when she was telling them, because she was raped because of him,
Yeah,
basically. By 3 different men in her own house. So now she'll never be able to go there and feel safe in her own home. But when she told him about it, the way he reacted was like, I'm going to kill him, but not because he felt bad for her, hugging her, grabbing her and stuff, trying to comfort her. It was because he felt violated himself, because they knew this woman I was sleeping with, and then they wanted to prove to me that they could take away what I want, whatever. Instead of, he put it on himself, because that's what narcissists do. They were trying to hurt him, instead of looking at her like, oh my God, they put their hands on you. That thing is what she needed at the time. But see, I'm glad in a way that she saw that from him, so that she wouldn't end up being with him later. That's what I was hoping, because she didn't learn. You know what I mean? She's going to be constantly manipulated by this person, because she's a pacifist, just like his wife was. It took his wife many years to realize that he's never going to sacrifice for her. He's always going to be her sacrificing for him. It's a one-sided relationship whenever you're with a narcissist. And this was a great movie. To me, every narcissist girl that I know that loves narcissists, I would make them watch this movie and say, that's who you're married to. That's why you get treated like you do, and it's never going to get better because a narcissist doesn't change ever. So sad truth, but that's the way it is. But he did a great job playing that someone you want to hate. I mean, his character arc was 100%, pointed and let everyone know he was a narcissist, even at the very end. So, he did great. I thought everyone was great. I thought everyone was great actors in this movie. Or even though I couldn't understand half the dialogue,
Yeah, half the
they did
dialogue.
a good job. The scene where they come in and they're using the Uzis and killing everybody and shooting up the place. Oh my God. I was like, oh, it was a really good scene. I did a good job. The people, all the extras in the movie that were flying around and jumping, and the squibs they had on the tables and on the walls. I mean, they had them everywhere, and there was stuff was exploding in glass and cups and plates and tables, and it was amazing. That was a really, really thought out scene. I mean, you could tell that what the director said he wanted, and then you could tell how the prop people and the makeup people, everybody all worked together to make that scene just freaking good. And they had good actors to make that scene so intense.
That scene reminded me so much of a classic Hong Kong action theater film called The Hard Boiled. And the start of that movie is it's at the start of a wet market, and then just all hell breaks loose like what happens in this movie. But that movie, instead of having like 3 gunmen, there's like unlimited gunmen, and it's absolutely batshit insane with the kineticism. And that's a good film. Hard Boiled is a good film. It's a classic for Hong Kong action cinema, but it's not got the later polish that John Woo develops is really good. There's some movies he does overseas, not films he does here. Do not look at The Corruptor as one of his finest works, please. But he does some really good films, and they have just as much to offer as Hard Boiled, but they do have a better layer of polish and finesse. But Hard Boiled is probably his kinetic masterpiece. And that's what the first part of this movie reminds me of, because you get that restaurant scene, and for fucking 3.5 minutes, you're fucking just stuck in a chair, wondering who's going to die next, because you see this extra, oh, they're dead. See that extra, oh, they're dead. See that extra, oh, they're dead. And the squibs in this movie are better than in the movie Total Recall. And
there were hundreds of them. Do you know how much time that takes to set all those?
That's a lot.
Yeah, it was a lot of time. So you had a lot of people in the props department and in the different crossovers to make sure that they had everything done and that the makeup and stuff matched all that. Because if they had to do anything over again, and I'm sure they did a couple of reshoots here and there, they had to come in after that was done. I'm just explaining it so people that don't understand. When they were finished with that huge scene, okay, that whole dining room, when you had the cameras panning around, it looked like multiple cameras. I think they used a couple of cameras, and then they edit that together. The editing was excellent for this movie. I couldn't find any editing mistakes except one. And there was only one that I saw, but I only saw it once. And it was, you could see, well, maybe it was 2, because one scene with the triad people, I could see the boom in the upper corner on one. And then another one, it was just a reflection in the window, which could have been edited out without having to basically, reshoot to fix it. So they were very tiny though. I don't think anybody else would have noticed. They might have, but that's just something, I'm always looking at, that kind of stuff. But it was very, very subtle, but the music was good. I mean, nothing took me away from the action in this movie. It was very, very well done and thought out. And it doesn't look like he spared any expense. That every dime that he probably got to make this movie, he put into this movie. Through how many extras they had, all the costumes. I mean, did you see all the uniforms they had to have for the Filipino scene?
Okay, just in America, we had 3 filming locations. There was the streets of New York. There is a a back lot somewhere, and then there was North Carolina, where the majority of the Chinatown scenes were filmed in North Carolina, and
Really?
they studied that main road that goes through Chinatown
Mhm.
extensively, and they got everything. They casted molds on the bricks of the street, the curbs, and they
Awesome.
did their best to make it look super authentic, which I feel it did. It came
Yeah,
out.
I thought it was filmed in Chinatown.
Nope, no, this is filmed in North Carolina.
And they
Uh,
probably saved a fortune by not having to pay them in New York compared to being able to do it in a
I don't
smaller area in
I don't
North
know
Carolina.
what prices that North Carolina would have charged. I'm
Well,
very
I'm telling you right
unaware.
now, it's nothing compared to what it would have been done
Yeah,
in New York.
yeah.
That would have been a
I
lot.
was just listening to the Unsubscribed podcast. I want to say it was Unsubscribed, and they were talking about filming in California versus filming in anywhere else.
Mhm.
And when the cops show up in California, the first thing out of their mouth is, "You got a permit to film?" And no, we're just a couple of YouTubers. Well, put it up. You can't film then.
Mhm.
And if you don't have the right paperwork, you're just not filming. It doesn't matter if you're filming on your phone or if you got seven rigs and all the equipment to do the filming, or if you're just a couple of 13-year-old boys that are doing a film. If you don't have the permit, no recording, none. You
Mhm.
got to go home. And that's just how that is in Cali versus like North Carolina, where
Well, like they call the whole thing down in Louisiana and in Georgia and Alabama, Hollywood South.
Mhm.
They're filming The Walking Dead and a lot more series and stuff like that. I think Treme was filmed in New Orleans, in Louisiana areas, all around in there, because of the price, because they got huge tax incentives and stuff. That's really smart. Any state that wants to make some extra money and bring the industry to their state needs to just make sure they have good taxes when it comes to filming, because if it's low enough, they can bring in huge crews of people, and people will be hired as extras or stand-ins or whatever. And also, your house might be used. I mean, there's a lot of databases where, like, if you have an old-timey basement that looks really old, or that your home looks really old, or looks like a plantation or whatever, you put your stuff, your pictures on the website, and you put the schematics, the square footage, how big your acreage is, all that kind of stuff, and you might be used in a movie. And that's what they do. The location scouts go out looking for what they need, what they think the director wants, and that's how a lot of these homes get used in lots of these movies and TV shows. And if they can save money, it's unique and different, then you might be used for that. So I just thought they did a great job. You could definitely tell, just like I've always say, is that when you have a good director that talks to his people, his location manager, his casting director, the script supervisor, all the people, and they all work together with the props department and the makeup department and all the different areas. You can have a really, really good film that's very believable, because everybody wants to see it be successful. And I definitely felt that with this one. I don't know how well this movie did at the movie theater.
It
uh,
didn't do that well in the movie theater, but
didn't Yeah,
no,
just like I said, that it would have had to be the only thing I could see that would turn people off from watching this. Is definitely not for kids. I can say that, because there's total nudity in this when it comes to the one woman. You see front and back, you see everything. They don't actually act like they're having sex. They're just like together. You know what I
yeah,
mean? They're not really groping and doing a lot of nasty stuff. It's just nudity. But it's the language is very colorful. It's very
the,
racist,
the,
and I'm sure that a lot of people, certain people, that don't like that stuff, even though it's telling an authentic story that deals with racism. Which I don't see how you deal with a story like that without having racism in it. You have to have it. That's what the story is about. And a lot of people might have said, "Don't go see it. It's a racist movie," whatever. Just like today, people say, "I'm not going to go see that because it's woke," so someone won't see it. I went and saw a couple movies that people told me was woke, and I didn't see it the way they told me it was. So that's why I tell people, I don't care what they say. If you watch the trailer and you think it looks good, go see it. Don't worry about what your friends said, just because they have a different point of view of you. You might enjoy it. So, I go see
And
them anyways.
what I really found to be weird is that I'm looking at the information. The movie made it was budgeted for 24 million, and worldwide it made 31, including some VHS rentals and beta rentals and sales.
Yeah.
But
That's all the way up till today. Someone made that much up to
that's what
today or not?
Wikipedia has. I'm sure there's some more detail. It probably made closer to about 40
Yeah.
because it's on every streaming service and it's got a mostly good rating on everywhere, like between 69 and
Mhm.
81. That's not bad. It's a 70s movie in terms of rating. It's an 85 film with lots of racism. They do say a lot of colorful slurs, some of your favorites, and it's just one of those movies that it's very honest with itself. And when it came out, it was telling an honest story, but within 5 years, we had this movement come along, and we were suddenly beset with movies like Mo Better Blues,
Mhm.
Spike Lee Revolution, and movies kicked off. We had a lot of interracial dates that started happening after that because of Jungle Fever. And there was a TV show on Sunday nights called In Living Color. And you
Mhm.
had this giant movement that made it mainstream. Like, uh, we're not really encouraging race mixing, but we would like to have people get the fuck along.
Yeah.
And even even after 1992's bullshit with Rodney King, that didn't really dent the narrative where there was still a big agenda, which I can't get any way, shape, or form against. I love the fact that like people can get along even though you're not the same melanin count or as long as you all speak the same language and you guys can understand and trade with each other, that's all I give a shit about. And I think that was kind of the narrative back then, and we've gotten away from that so hard. But this movie does such a good job of showcasing how it was to be a child of the 50s and 60s, and you go off to Vietnam and you fight, you come back, and nobody fucking appreciates you. But then you got these guys from the forgotten conflict, Korea, and they're there busting your chops because like you're there and you made a big fuss because some fucking hippie spit on you when you were in the middle of a parade, or maybe you're just getting off the fucking
Mhm.
subway in New York and the fucking hippies are giving you grief. Like of all people to get upset about the giving you grief, like I've never seen a buff hippie. Like they were the pre-soy filled American.
Yeah. Well,
Yes,
that was one of the things that I did like that I thought was really good. It was deeper than I expected
yes,
because of the media
yes.
stuff. The way that they filmed it, because that's basically, I was trying to dress up like the one woman because I had never seen it, so I just went through and I asked for pictures from the movie, and it was very few that I didn't see any women. I didn't even know he had a wife or
This
anything.
movie is
He was
forgotten.
the only one, so I just got my short wig and tried to dress up like like something that she was wearing in the movie. But the thing is, the parts that she did on the street, and then you had all the people pushing and shoving, trying to get past the cops, and you saw the cops standing there with their arms out trying to hold back the press. The press corps was just all over the place, and I thought they did a very realistic job with that. I mean, you've watched a lot of these press things in the White House. Now they're all sitting, and they have to sit, and they're supposed to, because they want to be able to go back, so they're pretty good. But on the street, they're not like that. They are animals on the street. If you've watched any of the stuff live stream, I've watched a lot of live streams showing other press, not the live streamer, but they're focused on the people coming out, giving speeches after court or whatever, and it's a madhouse. So they did a good job at doing that. And the young woman that played the reporter, she was very articulate and to the point, and she wasn't nice. You know what I mean? She
No,
wasn't really nice. She was pressing questions, getting up in the face of the person. I mean, like a real journalist. And I thought she did a very good job on those
you
aspects
did a
of it.
very good
In
Carolina
that
Reaper,
part
I
of it.
think.
I thought she did. And I liked the way some of the people reacted to the reporters. Like when they were saying, get them the hell out of here, that kind of stuff. You had some of the higher ups in the cops part doing that. And then also some of the people that were being bombarded by the press, the criminals, basically, their reactions were really good and very realistic for me as a viewer of what I would think in that part that was going on, how the press would be acting. And I just thought it was really good. I thought they did a really good job, well-rounded areas like that. And then also the woman that played his wife in some of the argument scenes that she did, like when she tells him it's just over, I can't deal with this.
Nava.
Yeah, and then she went down the hallway and slammed the door and went to the bathroom, and you saw her immediately go to the sink, and that is what I could picture that. And she's crying, and looking at herself in the mirror, thinking about what a dumbass she is. She did a wonderful job.
Very believable job.
Yeah, my stomach hurt for her. I mean, I was wrenched because of it. And then when she got murdered in her own house. It was just devastating. I just felt so bad for this woman because she gave half her life to this guy. What 15 years or something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah, around that to this man, waiting for him. And then when he was saying, "Just give me some time to think things out," and she's like, "I'm running out of time. I'm running out of time. I wanted to have a baby. I wanted this. I wanted that." And I kept waiting and waiting and waiting, and she did. She waited, and then she died, and she didn't get any of the things that she'd hoped she'd get the day she said I do, and because she loved the wrong man. She loved a man that was incapable of giving her the love that she needed or she deserved, and that was heartbreaking. So that was her character arc was just sad. It was really sad, especially when I loved the fact, though, that the director thought how important it was to pan around the room so you could see the pictures, some younger pictures of her and him, and then older pictures, and their little awards that they've gotten and his awards that were hanging on the wall, showing their path of their marriage and how she was keeping the house,
everything.
She was keeping the house clean, and she was, was doing the best she could to make sure he had a home to come to. And when he wouldn't come, or when he would come home, and then he would get a drink or whatever, and then he'd leave. When she had dinner ready or whatever. So all of that it gave you a view into their bad relationship. She was married to someone who wasn't available. He was never available for her. So she was in a one-sided relationship. Everything revolved around him, period. And that was, I felt bad for her. So that was really hard for me to, care about him that much, because I really didn't. I didn't care whether he was successful. I didn't really care whether he finished, even when because he kind of forced himself on the younger woman and they had sex or whatever. And then he just felt like he owned her. So he just gets his stuff and just moves in. He just took control, and that was his personality. And that's, he did a good job at being that controlling, overbearing narcissist. I just thought he did a great job. He should have got an Academy Award for his portrayal, because he was, that's how realistic it was to me.
I can't complain about any of the actors' performances in this film. Catherine Nava, the wife that was on a ragged edge throughout most of the movie.
Yeah.
You feel sorry for her. You really feel her presence in the film, because she's trying to be patient, and she's trying to be a saint, and ends up. She should have been a nun.
She wasn't trying to be a saint. See, that's
no. To
me, I felt like she was just trying to be a good wife.
She's trying to be a good wife, and she would have been better off if she would have been one of those nuns on the phone.
That was I love that. I never would have ever in a million years ever thought
That fucking
that
scene was
a
so smart.
detective would use a couple of nuns because they can understand the language as the ones to listen in on a wiretap. I just thought that was awesome. And the woman who played the older nun, she
Yes.
was phenomenal. I mean, her facial expressions and stuff because of the way he spoke to her and to the other guy in the room when he was eating his sandwich and it was all over his face, and it was a good scene. Those were two really good, believable scenes with the nuns. I love
Mhm.
that.
Yeah, I really can't complain about all of the events, the actors. I mean, this is like Six Nations says, this is the first time you see Desert Eagle chambered in 357, mind you. First
Yeah.
time you see Desert Eagle in a film, or one of the first, like one of the top three, first three that you see. And I'm looking at the photos here on IMDb. There's the best source of photos for the
Mhm.
movie. There's not a
Well, you can
batch
share
of
them.
photos. No, this I. The last thing I want to do is have my hands off my paints because I gotta fucking finish these
Oh,
goddamn
okay.
miniatures. But I'm gonna show you. Hey, Cam, how you doing, sir? I'm gonna show you. Like they don't have a whole lot of photos to share. You're better off to watch this film.
Yeah, that's what I said. I could only find the one woman when I did a search on Google. I didn't go to this page because I didn't want to ruin the movie. You know what I
No,
mean? I just wanted to see the women characters in the movie. That was it.
yeah.
So I loved her too. The singer,
The
she
singer
was
in
so
the movie, she
adorable.
didn't speak any English at the start of
I
the film.
know.
They found her in like the worst club, and they're like, "Want to go do a movie?" And cha 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 chi chi chow, and they're like, "Yeah, I'll do a movie." And she thought she's going to do something terrible. Instead, they give her enough money where she can go learn English. And then at the end of the film, she's like starting up doing actual classes,
Mhm.
and so like her life was improved greatly.
Well, she reminded me of there was an actress in a movie. I'm trying to remember. I think it was one of the John Wick movies or something like that. I'd have to look it up. But she was Russian and she sang like shit. And she was the girlfriend or something. I think it might have been Reds or I don't know. It was a comedy action spy movie or something that we were
Might
watching,
have been
and
read.
she stunk. You know, she's I stand by your man, and she's saying really shitty, and she was wearing a cowboy hat and cowboy boots or whatever, and the man was telling her to get out. To stop singing or whatever to get out of there or whatever. She got pissed off and she did this to him.
So this movie came
That's
out
who reminded me of that
late
woman.
late in her career.
Hmm.
That lady that played the nun is Fabia Drake, and she died in 1990.
And who was this one?
She's the nun.
Oh, she's the nun. Oh, she was great. She was really good. She did a very believable job. Yeah, there she is. Because when I saw that right there, see that shot? She looks like Walter Matthau.
Yeah, she does.
We still haven't done Grumpy Old Men yet.
I don't need a reminder of the movies we haven't done yet. There's
I know.
four
I
pages.
really want to do that one. That's a
There's
good
four
topic.
pages of stuff we have to do yet.
I know. Can't help it.
I get it. I want to do good movies too. I want to do bad ones as well because if I don't do bad ones, then
Hmm.
you'll have no appreciation for them, and I'll have to make you watch Willy's Wonderland all over
Well,
again.
there's been 3 movies in a row so far that I had never seen. So I like that. I do like getting to watch, like this movie. I loved it. I thought it was really, really good, and I'd never seen it.
If you guys have seen this movie before, give your scores in the chat. I'll start and I'll have Janet read your rating or review.
Mhm.
There is a YouTube link that's at the 40-minute mark. This right here. You
Yeah.
want to go watch this film? Click that.
Oh, you
And
can watch it on YouTube?
yeah,
Wow, I didn't know
somebody
they did
uploaded
that.
that. We were having trouble at first, and then I just did a quick search, watch online, and I was looking for an hour and minute mark for the movie for the start and beginning, ending credits.
Yeah.
I found that within like 15 seconds, and I'm like, oh, we'll just connect from over here to here because the fucking movie we were watching had some rusky fucking narrating the credits as the movie opened, and I'm like, no, this ain't right. And I'm trying to talk to you. I got my fucking microphone muted. My microphone's properly muting for once. I love that go. So it wasn't really that smooth. The start first minute of this. It worked out though in the end. Whenever you say it worked out though in the end, it really didn't, did it? All right. Okay, Bruce. Go ahead and self-flatulate later. All right. So Year of the Dragon is a fine movie. And if you haven't seen it yet, I got the link there for you in chat. Go ahead and check
Well,
it out.
the name of the movie threw me off.
It did.
Yeah, because I was expecting like kung fu fights and stuff like that. I don't know why. I guess because the Year of the Dragon was a Bruce Lee movie too, right?
Enter the Dragon.
Or something like that. Yeah,
Enter
that's
the
why I was
Dragon.
thinking that. That's what I was thinking. So when it started, I was kind of like going, okay, I didn't understand the very, very beginning the way it was working. But then as they brought in the triad and they started talking about all that stuff, even though there wasn't kung fu fights and stuff,
Yeah.
really, I could see why they were doing that. You know what I mean? Why they called it that. But I would like to find out. Do you happen to know that when they were first I think there was 3 screenwriters, right?
For what?
For this movie.
Yeah, I think there's like 3 of them.
Okay, because I was going to say, they probably had one person that wrote the script, and then when it got, decided to make into a script or into a movie, that they got someone who liked the story, they brought in other people to help, write it and fix it up for the production company. Basically, it's probably what they did. I've seen that happen. They've done that a lot, but they did a good job. They really did, I think. And it wasn't. I heard a few people talking that they didn't explain enough about the characters, but honestly, for me, they didn't really have to do a lot of talking. It was the actual hands-on, the filming of the apartment, like I said, the pictures on the wall, a lot of different things that they did like that. And the one guy going to the Philippines and you seeing him getting off the ship and then riding the moped with the other people, and they all follow the roads, the windy mud roads and stuff. The difference in the two countries and the way the military and the government run things, you see it, you see the difference. And I just thought that was really good. I thought the detail and stuff like that was really telling, and it spoke volumes. Even though, and then the shipping yard, you only saw the one guy in the port authority car, basically talking to the detective, and you didn't need a bunch of workers. You just needed his conversation with them about, well, we got this, that, and the other. The ship is huge, and we just don't have the time and the resources to go through the whole ship and lift floorboards and blah, blah, blah. Just because you think that this ship's going to have heroin on it, that I just thought that the conversation he had, and the guy was in the right vehicle and wearing the right uniform, that you got the gist of what he was basically saying. I'm not going to shut down this whole shipyard just for you, that type of thing. So little things like that, and the detail and the environment that they were in when they were talking, and the backdrop and all that stuff. You could tell that the location manager did a freaking great job at finding places to fit whatever the scene was, because every scene I felt was believable to get me to believe whatever was going on in the scene. Did you have a problem with any of those?
No.
Yeah, I didn't either. I thought it was, even the house, the different angles they used in the living room and in the kitchen, the bathroom angles, him going down the hallway 4 or 5 times, because the hallways in a home you don't usually see in a lot of movies, but that was a good hallway. It gave you a good view, and people always use the hall. It's just that normally in most houses it's very small, but the way that they filmed it in this movie made the house look way bigger than I think it really was. But they did a good job. The camera person had a good eye to feel what the director wanted. I mean, I felt like they were like right in sync about his vision. of what he wanted to come from the script. I just loved it. I thought they did a great job, and the editing too. I think the whoever the editor was did a phenomenal job. Just a couple of small little things, but not to take away from the story. The story was still good. It was believable, and the music, nothing took me away from what was going on, and it didn't pull me out of the scene because I saw a boom, in the corner. But I'm someone who looks for shit, so I'm gonna see something sooner or later. But most people that just watch it wouldn't even know it was even in there. So I just thought they did a really good job because it didn't take you away from anything. I just loved it. So I've gone on enough about it, but yeah, it was good.
I
I
enjoyed
recommend it. And anyone that likes action and lots of guns, there really wasn't any car chases. There was one car that flipped over and stuff, but it wasn't a car chase when it happened, really.
it.
You know what I mean? And then the explosion when the car rammed into the wall, that was freaking kick ass. That was a good.
A little unrealistic, but yeah.
But it was still good. Why was it unrealistic?
I just don't see. I didn't see any bullet holes going into the fucking or notations going into the fucking gas tank.
Yeah, but I didn't need that. I didn't need
I
exact
do. I
precision.
do. I recognize that, but that to me was like the most unrealistic part of the film was the car goes into the brick wall at less than 30 mile per hour, and
I loved those. That was great. The most unbelievable scene for me was there was two of them. It was two of the gunfires of the people with the Uzi or the machine gun shooting at the lead as he's coming out of the restaurant the first time, and they're shooting, and the wall's getting all blown to hell, but he doesn't get one shot, not even the kneecap or a foot or anything. What a crappy shot they were after they just destroyed the whole restaurant and killed whole bunches of people and maimed a bunch of others, and they can't even shoot this guy when he's coming out of the front of the business. An open, wide open wall. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then the other scene was the same thing when they were shooting at him when he was coming out of his apartment after they had just killed his wife, cut her throat, and left her in the bathroom. And he comes running out, and he's up above the street. He's just a open target, and you see the bullets going around and stuff getting hit, but not him. See, that was two times. It was, to me, that was just a little bit over the top. And then you had the other guy, his brother-in-law, running down the street because he knew something bad was going on because he could hear the shit that was going down. And he came running, and he doesn't even get shot. So, just those were two things that was a little far-fetched for me, but I accepted it because I was already into the characters and into the movie, and it was a dramatic scene to see her get her throat slit in her own bathroom at her house, and it was just sad, the whole thing. But at least she died as his wife. She wasn't divorced. You know what I mean? She at least had the dignity of dying as a married woman. The one thing that she had dedicated her life to, being the wife of a police officer. So she had a more dignified funeral service and stuff. And I was shocked when they showed her in the casket, and they had it all set up, and the priest was reading from the book, and she had bruises on her face. So that was one thing I didn't like that, because you do the best you can to get a good person to make your loved one look the best that they can make them look. Even when someone's been beat all to hell, they can use enough makeup, airbrush or whatever, to make your loved one look presentable, like they're sleeping. And they didn't do that. And that was one thing I did notice at the funeral service. There was no children. There was only one child in the whole movie that I remember, and that was the young girl walking beside her father or mother. Yeah, her mother. She was holding her mother's hand, wearing all white. Remember, for the first funeral at the very beginning, and that was the only child I remember seeing in the whole movie. Basically, the rest were teenagers and young thugs. So I thought that was interesting, because I was expecting to see a child sitting in the funeral at the police. All the police were sitting there. But since she didn't have kids, that's probably why they didn't bring any. But I was still expecting to see, a kid, at least one kid, someone to come to the service and had to bring their kid, because, they're at a funeral, You know what I mean? But just little subtle things like that is all I saw that took me, that made me think about it when I saw. But besides that, I recommend anyone that likes shoot 'em up, good thriller,
This really isn't a shoot 'em up. It's
action-packed.
suspense.
Yeah, and suspense. Yeah, it's good. But there is a couple colorful words in this, and nudity, full frontal nudity of a woman.
It's not really super fucking prevalent. The boobs might be, but they do keep the clam chowder a little bit off scene, and like you'd have to
Well,
be.
you didn't see her full bush when she's getting out of the tub when he's knocking and banging on the door.
Yeah, but
Full frontal nudity.
I wasn't. I guess maybe I've been
You were
around
just looking at her boobs. You weren't looking at the rest of her.
I'm not looking at her. I was watching the film. It was done about as tastefully as possible. There's really no smut in this film.
Yeah, I was like so jealous of her bathroom. I
I was jealous of the
damn,
fucking apartment.
all those beautiful
But
windows and the giant garden tub. I was like, I would love to have that.
I don't know if you know this or not, but it's available on IMDb's trivia section. This movie, they have a vantage point of New
the
York
whole
City.
her apartment was built.
It was on the side of a building.
Mm-hmm.
They fucking built that because nobody else had filmed from that angle before. And Michael Cimino was like, we got to do this.
Yeah, because it was supposed to be New York, and she's supposed to be a highfalutin, up and coming reporter.
Yeah.
So I could see why they did it, and it was beautiful. I wouldn't have known that was just a set. I mean, it was a breathtaking apartment that anyone would just go, "Ooh, I wish I had it." I wish I had that money to do that because it was gorgeous. I loved the openness of it. Absolutely loved it. Every time I saw it, I was like, I want to do that. Did you see you saw the records all lined up that she had?
Music collection was amazing.
Oh my God, I was so jealous. And the way they were on display to show that she loves music and she loves records, albums and stuff. But it was the way they were displayed. It just made me so jealous. I was like, oh my God, I would love to have a living room like that. And she had a sunken living room.
Yep.
And then it stepped up into her loft bedroom. I just thought it was just gorgeous. To me, it was like a penthouse apartment in New York or a big city, looking down at the skylight because you saw the lights and the stuff. It was just beautiful. I just loved her apartment. It was nice. And it looked like a real apartment to me.
Yeah, it really did. It looked like somebody had done some good work with prop design and management, and they had a real architect there to help with facilitating everything. They built it on the side of a building, and they made it look really fucking nice. I wonder if it's still there today. That's my question.
I don't know. I mean, I could see somebody wanting to rent it, wanting to live in that because it was just beautiful, especially that bathroom. Oh, I would love to just sit in that bubble bath with candles around it and drink some champagne while I'm looking at that. Oh, watching the sunset or whatever. Oh my God, it was just gorgeous. I just loved it. But it was really scary when she comes stepping down the steps from her bedroom, and then that guy steps in front of her at the bottom of the stairs, and you could hear his knife pop up. And then she turns around slowly, trying not to act scared, and started going up, and the guy comes back down the stairs, another guy. I felt really bad for her. I thought they were going to kill her. That's what I thought, because I hadn't seen it, so I didn't know if she was going to die or not. But yeah, that was really sad. And the fact that they didn't show you what happens to her, I guess because they didn't have to. You know what I mean? They didn't have to put something so horrible like they did when you saw the woman, the wife, the guy grabbing her, and you see him cut her throat. It's a hard view. There's a few scenes like that, and the part where he's the triad leader is sitting at the end of that table, and then he pulls that bag out and he pulls that guy's head out, and it's got blood all over it, and it's dripping onto the table, and you see him slam the head down on there. It was pretty gruesome. And then all the soldiers sitting at the table in the uniforms, there's so many extras. I was like, wow, they went all out.
The movie was crazy with the amount of extras, the amount of work, and if
$24,000 They spent $24,000 to make this movie. It's shocking what they used to be able to do in the 1980s compared to today. That movie, everything, all those extras, all the scenes, everything you saw would cost $100 million or something to make today. That's ridiculous. That's why I
So
love practical effects compared to some of the other things, because to me it just makes it more believable, and it's probably less expensive. But man, it was good. They did a great job considering that it cost $24,000 to make. It was kick ass, I thought.
so there's a movie that we're watching next week, and
Good.
a lot of you are familiar with Molly Ringwald, but have you seen Molly Ringwald's first big movie? And that is Space Hunter: Adventures in the Forbidden Zone. And Michael Ghostbusters, Michael Winslow's, yeah, I think it's Michael Winslow, the black guy from Ghostbusters.
Mm-hmm.
He plays a good supporting character in it. She's in it, and then there's some forgettable Han Solo guy that's in it. But
I've never seen it.
Real star of that movie is Michael fucking Ironside, star of the movie, the wonderful film. And my brain just went blank. Damn it! I just cackled like fucking Kamala Harris. Shit. What was the movie?
Was that Bill Clinton?
No. What was the movie we watched about 2 months ago that had the guy, the psionicist, explode the other dude's head?
Yeah, Scanners.
Scanners. The star of Scanners, Michael Ironside, is the nemesis.
Yeah, I love him.
So do I. He's
I like
actually
his movies.
like a really good dude, and he seems like somebody that's realistic, that does things on a common basis. He's not full of himself. You know, he recognizes I'm probably getting old. But he was in one of the best movies of 1986, and that's Top Gun. He was in Adventures in the Forbidden Zone, which we're going to watch next week, along with Molly Ringwald, and that we're going to see the beginning of an era, basically, because I think that movie really kicks off. That was one of the first 3D movies. That and Jaws 3.
Is it a 3D movie?
It was a 3D movie.
Oh, is it going to be hard to watch it without 3D glasses?
I think that it's
regular.
As much as they say it's in 3D, I think nothing was filmed in 3D. Because I've watched this movie on regular ass bulb televisions.
Oh, okay. So that means they made it regular too. And
40 years. Yeah, they made it regular, and it's okay. The 3D effect, I'm sure, was great in the theaters when you had the glasses, but I don't see where the 3D parts were. Six Nations says to us, according to Google, the apartment lasted only a week before they removed it off the side of the building.
Well, it probably wouldn't have lasted if a big storm came or something.
No.
See, I didn't know that. I thought they took an open office or something in the building and built her an apartment in there.
But
he's a cyborg in this movie we're gonna watch. Ironside. Yeah. Oh my God, I'm excited about watching it then.
Yeah,
he is just, I don't know. To me, he's one of those actors that looks like he loves doing it. You know what I mean? There's a few others. There's just very few that, to me, like Kurt Russell. You know, Kurt Russell has that personality that you could tell that you're probably on set with them that they're having fun, because they like making movies.
Yeah.
And that's how I never met Michael Ironside, but I would love to meet him because I think he's that kind of person.
I think we both park our cars in the same garage on that, Janet.
I would love to go meet him.
Cars in the same garage all the time, but I'm just saying, we definitely agree on this. Michael Ironside is one of the peak humans of this reality, and he's such a fun individual. His behind the scenes stuff he did for a really bad movie called Fact 2. It was a sequel to Heavy Metal, which we'll probably never watch that. Like, I value your time. If I didn't, I'd be like, oh yeah, we're watching Willy's Wonderland. So I
Uh-uh.
just watch your
I would
face.
say, please. I would watch it if you wanted to really watch it and do a review. I would watch it again.
Just
The
just
rest
to
of it, I mean,
rip
because
it
I
over
did
for
well.
stealing 2 hours of your time.
Yeah, I really don't want to though, because it was bad.
I get it. Um, but Michael Ironside is in this movie as a cyborg, and the practical effects in it are really good, I think. So we're gonna watch that because
So he's like an Arnold Schwarzenegger person.
no,
Oh,
he's Michael Ironside as Michael Ironside can emote. Arnold Schwarzenegger, chill out. We're never watching Batman 95.
yeah.
Okay, never. Yeah, he is the best part of Fact Two. I I
I've never
just
seen that either. If that's a movie,
that's heavy metal too. It's not worth it. The first heavy metal we'll watch. Easy. Great movie. Amazing film. Ivan Reitman helped produce it. I mean,
Mhm.
it's almost the gold standard in like 80s cheese. And John
Yeah.
Candy does like some really good stuff in that too. But that movie is so good. Um, Fact 2 is not. Fact 2's got Billy Idol. And it's the most wasted performance of an animated movie I've ever seen. And I've never in my life said that, but when I saw the back of the DVD box and Billy Idol and Michael Ironside wearing it, I thought, "Oh, this is going to be good," and it wasn't. I was so sad.
Um,
Anyway,
I just saw a note that I had written. It said for awards, the film that we're talking about was nominated for the Golden Globes,
mhm.
including Best Supporting Actor and Best Original Score. But what actor was nominated? That's the thing I didn't write
I'm
down.
not finding that. I
So
don't know who they're talking about there. I would love to know.
I'll have to get on my phone and look it up, I guess.
I'm not seeing it.
Let me look real quick. But go ahead and do what you were going to do before I interrupted you.
No. All I was wanting to know, we're going to get to the portion of it where we go for the review scores, because that's kind of the next part after I kind of demo the next movie we watch, and that is Space Hunter 3D Adventures in Forbidden Zone, which, wow. Talking about that movie is we'll be stretching some things, some segments of that review. I can almost see it, but it's an interesting film to watch, and it does have some redeeming qualities. It's just that Michael Ironside's absolutely the best part of that film. Um, with
John
that,
Lone. Who was John Lone in the movie?
that's the bad guy.
Okay, well, he was nominated for Best Actor.
You remember what movie he was in that we saw, right? Do you remember that Iceman movie?
Yeah, he played the Iceman.
Yep. Yeah, that was where
And
they.
the score for the movie was also nominated for Best Original Score. It says that it has gained a cult following in the years since its released.
I believe it.
This is on IMDb. That's where I was trying to find who was nominated, because I didn't write that down for some reason. I have no idea why I didn't, but I thought that was funny.
The like I said, I think the worst part of the movie for me was the car explosion, because it reminded me of watching a Canon film, and up until this point, I love Canon movies, but that was out of place for me.
Well, one of the things that I forgot to bring up earlier that I thought was really wicked, because the explosion was so cool, but the fact that he was so angry at this guy, even though he shot him in the head when he went by after he
Hmm.
killed his wife, he ran down the street and got down there and he opened the door and trying to rip the guy out of the car, and the other guy's trying to stop him. And when he gets out, the practical effects on him, with his hair smoldering and smoldering smoke coming out of his
That
jacket
smoke
and
coming off
burn.
and his face is blackened. It looked like he was actually the explosion himself.
Yeah, but he was exposed to the flames and all the shit coming out of the car trying to get that guy out. So that was a very emotional scene in there, because he realized that she was gone. the rock, basically, like she said, I was your rock all these years. I was always available, always there for him every single day. But he ignored it. He just like brushed her aside because he felt like she's always going to be there
Every
for me to
guy,
wipe my feet on.
every narcissist. This is the tale of the narcissist.
Yeah.
When they have somebody that, I'm not giving up on you, I'm not giving up on you, all of a sudden that's a green light. I'm going to go fuck 17 more Chinese hookers. I'm
Yep.
going to go and borrow a fucking orphanage, and the
Mhm.
first girls to turn 18 are going to get deflowered by me. And they just fucking have the worst fucking human responses possible because they're fucking narcissists.
Yeah, because in real life, a narcissist that has a person that's constantly saying, "I'll make you a sandwich,
Don't do it.
I'll take
Don't,
your
don't.
suit to the cleaner or whatever," as soon as they say, "Well, I can't do this anymore. I just can't deal. I can't live
Oh,
this way."
what?
Say,
What's
"Well,
wrong,
if
Janet?
you
Why
hadn't gained
this?
weight and if you'd done this and you'd done that, I wouldn't have went and
I
cheated
wouldn't
on
have
you."
done
They
this
put it
if you
right
would
back
have
on
been
them
dating
again
me.
because that's what narcissists do.
If
So
if
he
you
did good.
if you would have just worn one more set of lingerie, we
Yeah.
would probably be on Tahiti right now. We'd
Yeah.
be at Tahiti, and you could be soaking up sun rays, and I would be there, content as your husband, and blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
And you would have Mr. Narcissist give you, and it happens with Miss Narcissist too, kids.
Yes. There's
They
women who are
promise you,
narcissists.
they promise you the sun, moon, and stars.
Mhm.
They do not deliver. They do not deliver.
No.
If you find yourself in a relationship with a narcissist, your best hope is to just find a way to get rid of them. Just make
Yeah,
them
just
not
it's
yours
it's
anymore.
best to just get out as fast as you can
Yeah, get out.
and
Like,
cut ties with that person because anytime you talk to them, they're gonna be able to talk you into doing something. That's the way it is.
yeah, and if
They
you have
just can't talk to
friends
you anymore.
that are consistently requiring this person be around and in your life, hey, that's not your friend. They're they're there against your betterment, against your health and mental stability. So you need to, just think about you for a moment, and it's okay to be selfish like that. That's really
The
not
best
being
thing to
selfish.
do is to try to step out of it for a little bit. To step away from the relationship with those people also if they're trying to keep you with the narcissist. Just back out for a little bit and take a break for yourself if you ever feel like you're being pressured into something. Because even if you're married to someone and they're trying to pressure you into doing something against your will, you really need to reevaluate where you are because, you know, a person who really loves you isn't going to try to force you to do something against your will.
No, no matter how
That's
much
why
they
so many
say,
people got divorced because of the COVID. So
no
I
matter
hate to
what they
say
say, kids, if it feels bigger than a chicken leg, it's probably a dick.
that. That's right.
Um, I would also
I
recommend.
didn't see anybody put anything in the chat for me to read.
Yeah, I didn't see any ratings there.
Mhm.
I'm looking.
But what's your rating?
Me?
Hmm.
I'm going to rate this a fucking 89. This is
That's
about as
good.
close of a 9 out of 10 film as I could get. The
Hmm.
the reason why I'm not giving it a 9 is that the car wreck scene that's on film drove it down a little bit. That took it down 2 points. Then
Well,
we had a couple other things like Ariane's overacting at the first act of the film when they first meet up, and she's trying to convince him, "Oh, there's a Roger in my life," and she's trying to, later get him out, and her inability to emote properly. I mean, she's a
yeah.
good actress. She's not that good. She's not Mickey Rourke in a specially constructed apartment to get a great fucking view of New York City, $40 million budget or $40 million opening weekend movie like this should have been.
Was she in lots of other stuff?
She was. She's still
Okay.
doing stuff as
I
of
have
a
to
few
look
years
and
back.
see because I didn't look her up yet, but I'm gonna.
She does okay. She's not great in this movie. Joan Chen would have been a better actress. She wouldn't have been the big draw. Would not have been the nudity queen that she that Ariane is.
Yeah.
Uh, but it's got some things that are really nice. One is the Desert Eagle makes its debut in the 357. You don't really see 357 Desert Eagle too much in movies.
Mhm.
A lot of times when they bring out the DE, it's in the 50 caliber variety, but usually you don't see the Desert Eagle. Um, yeah, I don't see any ratings for this film. This is a very much underappreciated movie.
But maybe they hadn't seen it.
Yeah, I that's why I
I hadn't.
link in the chat because y'all want to see a good movie? I got that. I got your link. This movie is free. Go see it. You'll enjoy it. Or there's a Russian version out there on the RU sites. Don't see it because they
Oh, the
never.
Russian one. That's what you were trying to play the first time.
Yeah,
Now I remember. Okay, yeah.
but watch this movie. It's a fucking good movie. I give it an 89. It's not quite A material, but Mickey Rourke is a real handsome little son of a bitch in this movie, and he plays a really good New York detective. He plays John McCain, John McClane, John McCain, Senator John.
Yeah, John McClane.
John McClane from the Die Hard series is given a real nice coat of paint in this movie, and you can see like the pre-Die Hard John McCain, which I that's just how this is in my head canon because he looks so much like Bruce Willis and acts so much like an asshole Bruce Willis, straight out of Die Hard or even The Last Boy Scout because The Last Boy Scout is damn near top.
Yeah, to me, if you were going to compare him to Bruce Willis, it would be from The Last Boy Scout, not the other one. I mean, I just don't. I might see similarities, but he's more like the other one to me in this movie.
I
And
say
this is my favorite movie with this actor in it because I really don't like him.
okay. I like the fact that he tried pro boxing for a while and it fucked his face up, and that's why he got the fucking spongy cauliflower face of Mickey Rourke today. Granted, he's also like what 72, 76, somewhere around there.
Yeah, and
He's not that.
his
Yeah,
ears are kind of dorky too
he's
now. But I just never have really liked him as an actor, at all. So when I saw this movie, that's why I was kind of going, okay, whatever. But I was impressed. I was really impressed.
I
Uh, it showed me a totally different side of him because he
there
can actually act.
there's a trifecta of friends I have that when they unite in almost like Voltron in their movie reviews,
Mhm.
when they unite together and they say this is a good movie, like okay, I shut up, I don't protest, I just watch.
Yeah.
And on movies, typically Bear is for me about a 78 to 80% correct. On most movies he likes, I do like, but he's not all the way there all the time. Um, he's definitely got some interesting takes on things, and I wanted to see this because he recommended it so heartily so, and I had to see it. This is a
Well,
well worth watching, and between Bear and Six Nations and my friend Charles, like I said, when those three unite, it's like okay, that's a movie I got to see.
well, Six Nations said if Oliver Stone had a bit more time to craft the script, it would have been an A+ film. So Oliver Stone was one of the writers of the screenplay.
One of the three writers, I believe.
Yeah. So okay. Well, I
And
didn't know that. I didn't.
he's a
I didn't know
better
that
Hemingway than a Kubrick, I think.
because he's saying he gives Six Nations says I give this an 85+ easy
Yeah.
for grit and realism and the rawness of dialogue and action. Well, I agree with them on that because to me, this was very, very real. I mean, I was shocked by it because for one, I'd never seen it. And I really don't like Mickey Rourke that much. I just don't think he's that good. I hated him as the whip guy, in the X-Men movie or the
Yeah.
Marvel movie.
Iron Man movie.
Yeah, I just didn't, I just don't really like him. I didn't even watch 9.5 weeks or whatever, because I'm just not interested in seeing him in a sexual, I don't know. I just, something about him I just don't like.
They
And I
don't
hadn't
know
seen this one,
the
but
moves
watching it,
all.
this today, I was really surprised of how good an actor he really is because he could actually act and he made me not like him in this movie. because of the way he treated and talked to people, the disrespect that he had. And he was just full of himself, which is what his character was supposed to do. And I thought he was phenomenal. I thought he did a really good job portraying this defective, you know, police detective, basically, and the way he treated the women and other people in his life because of his crutch, which was him using his experience in Vietnam as a crutch to be able to treat people like be a racist pig, basically. So, and he did a good job. I was real impressed, and I really liked this young woman. I thought she did a really good job at portraying a a Chinese American that was born and raised here. So she spoke English like anyone else, and she wanted to be a reporter, and she did a good job. I thought she was really good. And the fact that she would do full frontal nudity and not crack up or whatever, I just thought she did a really good job for a young actress. And the woman who played his wife, I thought she was great. I mean, I had my heart broke for her. She was believable. Everyone, I thought they did a really good job at casting everyone in this movie. I thought all the bad guys were good. I thought the sets were phenomenal. I thought the costumes, I mean, the whole Philippine scene, or was it Vietnam scene? I mean, all of that was so believable. And how many people they had in this movie as extras, I was shocked, because the restaurant scene was packed with people. The scene when they went to the other country was Vietnam, right? The dirt, muddy roads, and the backdrop of the mountains and stuff. I don't know how they did all that, but it real. It looked very real to me, and all the uniforms they were wearing, and the fact that they were in these giant tents, out there like a real rough, rogue, poor military would have. It was just, I don't know. It was very rough and tumble to me, but it was believable. And the actor that even played the general that was killing the other general to take his place and hadn't hidden in the back area and keeping him drugged up, he was believable at playing a corrupt, piece of shit, basically. I just thought they did a really good job at making it so raw and real, and along with all of the racist comments and the way people treated people because they were in Chinatown, that kind of thing. Which,
Why do they keep calling us racist?
I just thought it was really realistic.
It's normal for us to be
And
racist.
so my rating is I'm giving it 9 out of 10. I was really, really impressed with this movie, because I wasn't expecting it to be. I wasn't even the movie that I expected it to be, because it just, when you played the trailer, I really couldn't. It was so dark, the way that the trailer was and stuff. I just didn't know if I was even going to like it. And I don't like Mickey Rourke normally. So I was real impressed when I got to sit down today in the comfort of my office and watch it. It was a lot grittier and real than I expected it. And I really had feelings for the characters. The editing was phenomenal. Everything, like I was talking about from the movie, I just thought it was really good. And I definitely will tell people, you need to watch it. If you haven't seen this movie and you like this, and this, or whatever, you need to try this movie. And it's on YouTube too. I was really shocked when he told me that.
I was able to find it on YouTube. Bam, there you go, kids. See it.
And it was good. It was a good movie. It's a good entertainment for 2 hours. Get some popcorn, sit down and watch it if you're really into this, because it was really good. I really enjoyed it.
I completely endorse this movie. I think this movie was fantastic.
Oh,
it was a lot of fun.
He hasn't seen it. He needs to watch it.
Yeah, if you've
I
never,
think you'll like it, Papa.
Oh, now there's also a movie called Hard Boiled, and there's the video here that Carpenter Brute, synthwave artist out of France, he spliced together some scenes. Actually, one big scene from Hard Boiled, and this movie. Everybody, if you've never seen Hard Boiled before, do you like kinetic action films? Well, this is where we get it from. Because while we have good special effects teams now, it was the underrated $5 performers of Canon Films and Hong Kong action cinema that gave us what we have today. From 1988 or 89, my 12 was crazy. So anyway, that song is called "Looking for Tracy Zoo." That is basically the reporter that's in this movie,
Mm-hmm.
and he made that song based on that. And whoever decided to place that video in thought this would go really good with the Hong Kong action sequence in the police invasion scene
Yeah.
of Hard Boiled. So if you want to know more, put it in comments. We'll watch it.
You shared the link for the movie too, right? You shared
Yeah,
it in the
yeah,
chat. Okay,
yeah.
good. So
Who wants to see
everyone
this
has
movie?
who's seeing this, you have a chance to watch it if you want. It's on YouTube, and you can watch the movie and at your leisure or whatever,
Yeah,
and enjoy it. Because if you like action, you like um, espionage, all the different things like that. And you will like it. And full frontal nudity of a nice looking woman a few times,
not
more
bad.
than once. So, yeah, it
Probably
was
through the
good.
first 30 minutes of the movie, I dropped the link for the movie to be
Yeah,
watched. And yeah, the first 20 minutes here. But nope, not there. Over here. There you go.
there you go. Yeah.
Go watch it. Fantastic film.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
not either. Papa Cotton says he's not a huge fan of Mickey Rourke. Well, I wasn't either. So that's what I said. This was the best movie I've ever seen Mickey Rourke in. So
I would agree.
I was really impressed by him in this movie for who he's portraying.
He,
It fit him. So
I don't know if he's really just playing himself or if he's just getting into the role, but this
I'm
movie,
leaning towards it's more like who he really is. That's why he did such a good job in it.
okay.
That's why Tom Cruise does good in arrogant roles, because I
I,
think he's an arrogant person too. So there you go.
I would recommend watching it, Papa Cotton. You probably would enjoy it. There's a
If
lot
you
about the
do
film.
watch it, will you come tell us what, or send us a message or something? Let us know what you think. I'd
There's
appreciate
only a
it.
few parts of the movie I wasn't really kosher with.
Mhm.
It's all right at certain points. There's other parts that are just fucking film majesty, and it really showcases the writing ability of Oliver Stone, which a lot of us figured out early on. Oliver Stone was a great writer because he wrote the script to Conan the Barbarian,
Mhm.
and he adapted it from a bunch of different stories that had been written by Robert Howard, and we knew from the get go that Oliver Stone pretty good. He also wrote his 1986 epic Vietnam piece, Platoon, which a lot of people still watch on repeat to this day. So I would recommend it. I would say this movie is well worth your time. Put it on my watch later. Yeah, go ahead and
And
do
if
that.
I hadn't been doing this with you, Bruce, I probably would never have seen it, because I had never seen it till today. So
I
I
mean, and while I take great pride in the fact I've helped introduce you to a lot of good things, there's also part of me that's upset because I might have taken your time away from like somebody who spent time with you and shared with you a multi-million dollar winning lotto ticket. You like that Janet in an alternate dimension
yeah,
who's happy and like has all the
I'm
money and
happy. I'm happy with what I have. I don't have to have a huge mansion. I just said I really liked her bathtub.
oh,
I love baths, but I like bubble baths and stuff. A lot of people don't like bubble baths, but I've liked them since I was a kid. So I still like them. But to have that view in that beautiful tub and have some candles and stuff, wow,
oh my god,
that would be an
that would be
experience.
so good. This movie does a lot to kind of make you wonder what happened with America because that apartment was fabricated for this movie and they tore it
Mhm.
down a week later. So, I mean, we have strayed so far from God.
Well, the thing is, the one thing, like I said before we came on live, is I said what was sad to me. The reality of this movie makes you see that we haven't come very far when it comes to some of the things that you see happening with the crime and gangs and all the different stuff in this movie, because it's happening in, what was it, 1985, and the script was written, and the story is so believable and raw, and real. And I still see the same shit happening right now in 2025 in our cities. And that's what's sad. The fact that we haven't progressed when it comes to the crime and the drugs and the rapes and murders and all that stuff. It's heartbreaking. That's what made it so real to me. Is the reality of that we can still write screenplays today. You could make this movie right now with that exact script and it would be real. I mean, it's today. It's happening right now in our cities, and that's what's so real about it. And you know, I hate that. That's the one thing I wish that we could start working on things like that and actually make a difference. But you know, we talked about that beforehand, and it's kind of depressing to say that, but it is a really good movie. I mean, the story's good, and I hope that people can watch it and maybe think about, yeah, what can we do to make our future better and to make some changes. But just like I said, you know, about it, that Cain and Abel were at the very beginning, and you know, people just are jealous, and people do things for their own benefit instead of thinking of others. So that's just human, I guess, being human, that some people are that way. So
Well, clawfoot tub would be amazing. Grandparents on a little clawfoot. Wish we had that. Yes.
oh yeah, I love, they're so pretty to look at too.
Nick Mullen. Okay. Check that out.
He
So,
does a show, a stand-up show. Is that what he's telling us?
I believe so.
Yeah.
I believe that's what that is. I can't highlight it within Restream.
Yeah.
So, we'll figure that out. Check this out on YouTube so I can see what he printed there, Mr. Cotton Ministries. And Janet, do you have anything you want to add for your next couple days on the platform?
No, I mean, tomorrow night. What's tomorrow?
Tomorrow's
What's
Monday,
the date?
the 18th.
Okay, well, I don't think I have a game tomorrow night. I think it's our next game is like the week after, but that's the only thing is that I'll probably won't have anything until Wednesday night if we have a game on Bears channel, and then Thursday night I'll have either Teen Shit Show or After Hours, and then Friday night will be another Friday night shit show full of shit. So there you go. That's it.
Okay.
And I'll be on X, you know, doing spaces and stuff. So, and hanging out in Discord.
Sweet. So apparently, Pop Cotton, thank you so much. He typed in Nick Mullen special called Year of the Dragon, and he says it's funny. So if you
Good.
want to see funny,
It's a funny movie, or is it stand up?
stand up.
I like stand up.
So
Well, good. I'll have to check it out.
I'm going to be trying to do something new with my Rumble account and get that inflated and going. Not that I don't mind what YouTube has given me for the past 16 years, but I really would like YouTube to stop being self-destructive to the creators. So a lot of us have gotten behind it and try to tell them, and they just ignore us. So they're going to try getting the Writers Guild of America to unionize all of us on YouTube. That's their goal.
What does that mean?
They want us to be paying dues and to be.
How do they do that? I mean, I don't understand. Can you explain it a little bit before we leave?
The YouTube's offices in the last month have had the WGA getting a lot of emails to them, and people have gone by there and they've been talking about making all the content creators here part of the union because apparently we're all writers, and that's really not going to work. YouTube is starving for money. They're a loss leader for Google. They don't make money for Google. They spend money for them to build all these server towers to have my years of D&D videos available. They lose money, and they're trying to.
They will hurt themselves if they do that. If they try to force people to have to do something like that. Because I live in a right to work state, so you don't have to join the union in this state that I live in. So
they are wanting to do that. They've already started some draconian policies like the two-factor verifications, the must have your papers for YouTube. That's all started, and it's all dumb ideas. So I'm going to be, like I said, getting more
Gonna hurt
friendly
them.
with Rumble, and I'm probably going to be doing more live streams on Rumble throughout the week. So if you see a notification pop up on Rumble and it says your buddy 75, it's Bruce.
Okay.
I hope to see you there. Janet, look forward to being with you on Friday night for the shit show once again, as we can complain about stuff. And next
Okay.
Saturday, forward to you guys playing in that D100 game that I love so much.
Yeah. Well, me too.
Kids, thank you so much for being here with us today. If you missed anything or you'd like to give commentary, please drop your comments within the comment section. We'd like to give a special shout out to our friends, Baby Doll. You've always been here with us each and every show. Thank you so much for being here with us once again. Cotton Ministries for popping in and saying, hey, Six Nation 31 Kings for being here all the time. Hardwick Bentho.
And I thought I saw Lloyd Christmas.
Yeah, Lloyd Christmas and Hardwick Bentho for being here.
Yeah.
Hardwick, I didn't see during the stream. I saw you during the airing of the movie. Appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to watch movies with us, message Janet on her X account or on her Discord. You can find that information on Janet's page.
Because we're watching what movie again next week?
Space Hunter.
Space Hunter. If you want to watch Space Hunter with us at about 12:30 Central Time.
About 12 o'clock, because I'm going to have to leave early so I can go hang out with Makani for a little bit. I do want to give an appearance over there. I was on his show for like 4 years.
Yeah. Wow,
So,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was.
I think that's going to be great.
I was the miniature and paint representative over there, and he did the inking and awesome line work. Magic Bear did a lot of the crafting stuff, but that's what we do. Jackie Blue, thank you for being one of our queen moderators, and for all of the rest of you, please be careful. Please be safe. Please put your communists in the wood chipper. And do not forget that on Wednesday, we have the 85th anniversary of the assassination of Leon Trotsky. Fuck that guy. May he rot in hell. That wasn't his real name, but that's what he was known by to Western civilization. Every communist should be disposed of in a like manner. God bless you all. Have a great night.